What about Erling Haaland, by the way? Obviously, this is the time when we're going to say goodbye to him. He's had an incredible tournament, hasn't he, with the numbers that he scored and being involved in the Golden Boot race. How will he reflect on it, Grell? Will it be a success, even though Norway out in the quarterfinal? Again, he's another guy that comes to the conversation of Mbappe and Messi and all these great guys, and Ballon d'Or winner, and can he do it, and this and that, and how many goals he scores. He's a super athlete, superpower in the game. By his standards, now again, not by ours, not by mine, by his standards, that was a really poor performance of him. Super poor, exhausted. He had to come out in the second extra time. You're arguably the best goal scorer in the world. You've got to come out in Norway's biggest footballing moment ever. That was bizarre, wasn't it? Did that take you by surprise? But exhausted from what? Didn't run the entire game. By the way, you can say, okay, because I see every time I went after Ronaldo and said, listen, like he was not very good, they say, oh, the service was not there. What about hold-up play? What about the play in the first half when if he's a little bit more mobile and sees the giveaway there and gets his feet sorted, that's 1-0, right? Norway have to be perfect, and they need their stars to be perfect. We said the goalkeeper had to be perfect tonight. Wasn't perfect. We said Haaland had to have a big game. Didn't have the big game. Sorloth, he has an opportunity to make it 2-0, and then all of a sudden England are in a really dangerous spot. Those are the margins if you want to beat teams like England that have the players that they have. Those are the margins. You have to be perfect on your day and catch them on an off day, which England, every single game they've played has been an off day. So for me, poor performance. If we talk about it in a good light all the time, we also have to say in the biggest moment in Norway's football in history, he was ghost in the game.
I think if you look, zoom out a little bit, bigger picture, they will say fantastic tournament, loads to build off, loads to be excited for the future for. Both obviously the Euros and in the World Cup, they're in a real good place right now because it's still a relatively young squad, still got some young talent in there, and it will grow. But unfortunately today, it was maybe one game too many. But I love the way that they attacked the game, the way their fans turned up. Listen, the row annoys me, but fair play to them. But they turned up with a situation going, we're going out for the game, we've got out on our shield, and we're happy. That's it. Very true. The road ends here for Norway. I like what we did there. It was maybe a really good year as well for Norwegian football because 100%. The story wasn't only, Norway's first World Cup in 28 years. It was everything that Bodo Glimt did as well in the Champions League, Nige. Yeah, great progression. I think the boys covered everything, pretty much what I would have said as well. They'll still look back and say it was a good and successful tournament for them. And even with the performance they put in today, they put in a good performance. They didn't lose. They put in a good performance. It wasn't a performance where England dominated them or England with a better side, and you could see there was miles difference. Does that make it more painful, though, by the way? It will, because of the manner of the goal that they conceded. That's the thing that's hurt them the most, because they played well at times. We even had a discussion before that they scored. Does the Norwegian manager out-tactics England? How he set up, and then he started later to bring on Oscar Bob and Noosa. So we started to have a conversation about tactics. Maybe they were better than England in how they set up and prepared. So I think even though that they're out, they'll be very happy with the performance today. But the gut punch is England didn't have to work super hard for their goal. That's what makes it more difficult. If you look on the side of the screen now, typically it's just changed. It was like 94 was in the group stages, 98 they got through to the qualifier, and then now they're through to the quarterfinal. So if you see, they've progressed, and there's been a progression. One other element now for the Norwegian national team, plus like the likes of Bodo. Am I keeping you awake here? You okay? Sorry, I'm exhausted from the now they're not an unknown quantity. Now there's a different pressure now because people respect them, and they're going to have to try and break you down in a different way. So that's another challenge coming their way. But let's not take nothing away. They've been amazing. Have been very good, and also there's moments in games that are big that can swing, and with the refereeing, there's a lot of people that say the refereeing's been good. There's a lot of people that say everything's rigged and fixed. I'm not saying that, but those moments change games. That flop from Elliot Anderson, that's a flop. If you've played football, it's a flop. He's actually crying to the ref before the play even happens, and he's trying to flop, and he's waiting for the flop, and then once Erling Haaland touches him, he flops. Okay, gamesmanship, whatever. What about the one that goes up in the air and Ajir is there and he goes to head it and he's elbow in the back of the neck, right? That, if the ref wants. What about the Sorloth moment? Like moments in games. I know you're talking about referee, but I'm talking about the referee moments in games as well. That they could have killed it themselves. But they could have killed it themselves. Plus,
the goalkeeper dropping it, plus the referee, plus the camera. These are all variables in the game. So they change the outcome of the game.
Do you think that they'll feel like that things just weren't going their way today, aside from the football?
I think
they'll be upset.
They'll be hard done by.
They'll feel hard done by the referee today.
100%. Because even the incident with Jordan Pickford, when he came out and collided with Morgan Rogers, and then the ref stopped the play, but Norway had the ball, and one of the players got booked
because they thought it might have been a potential head injury.
So they definitely won't be feeling happy about it. And
that's England, Argentina, or Switzerland, Norway. That's a game you want to watch.
That's a great. Like, if you're looking now on the side of the screen, the only losses you've got on your record are 1 and 3 in the world, France and England. For Norway, that's a lot to build on. You've beaten some good names there in Brazil and some good teams in Senegal and Ivory Coast. So there's a lot there to build on as well. So they'll be happy. They'll be very happy. And
the federation will get $20 million as well for the run that they've been on through the World Cup. And a lot of teams don't want to face them in the qualifiers, right, for the next big competition. Christina Unkel is with us, our rules expert now, to talk about some of the decisions.
Oh, well, she needs a minute. She needs a minute.
Christina, you okay?
Hi, team. Just came back from calling the game live. That's the only reason why I'm running around here.
You look fabulous. Christina, should we talk?
Thanks. Quick little shout out to our team, Keats and stuff.
Yo, what's
Love
up?
It. Love the shirt as well, looking good. Okay, Christina, what about the ball that is debated whether it touched one of the camera wires at the top? What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, no, that actually caught me by surprise. I saw the chatter happening, right, and where the report was, and it caught us by surprise because obviously, naturally, a ball in the back of the net. My job is to go back and take a look at when they received the ball to make sure there was no foul in the APP or any kind of incident that would take the goal off of to chalk off the goal. And you know, I've seen the videos and I've seen the statements that have been put out, and I have access to not all of the VAR cameras, but I have access to quite a bit. And video operator Keats here that you just saw, him and I were going back and forth. You don't see the ball trajectory change. We're looking at it from the technical sideline stance of it, right? You actually see the full a rainbow arch. The ball doesn't change. You know, people are alleging it's going straight down. It's not going straight down. We look back at the players' reactions, at the technical staff's reactions. Nobody reacts in the moment that it happens. And then just recently, FIFA, about probably 15 minutes ago, put out a statement showing the connected ball technology, saying that there was no change or trajectory or movement on the ball by the connected ball technology as well. So, like I said, I can only use the evidence we have, the visuals that we have. You know, angles can be deceptive. This is a game of angles, and probably the most indicative angle is the one from the technical sideline showing the ball's trajectory, and it's a perfect rainbow arch. There's no change. So nothing that triggered us in real time, and honestly, I'm still not convinced that it did touch a spider cam.
Christina, while I think you got that one absolutely right, obviously with my English hat on, I do think the referee got the second goal of Norway wrong. I think that's a flop from Elliot Anderson. I think him going and looking at it as well, you can see it's a flop. Why has the threshold dropped? We started off with a really high standard of nothing's really a foul, and now we're getting into the business part of the competition. It seems to have gone back to factory settings now.
Yeah, so first of all, the irony should not be lost on this, right? This is the first time we've seen this expanded protocol that allows for goals to be chalked off if there is any kind of a foul or simple foul or anything that would infraction it before the ball is set into play. And here we see it for the first time. And what I mean by the irony of it is, right, this is something that's been happening a lot in Premier League, the shoving, the pushing, the blocking before any set pieces are taken, right? FIFA itself specifically used England versus Uruguay in March as an example. Ben White's goal, right? The block prior to as an example. And this actually fits categorically exactly why this new protocol expansion had happened. And so, like, to your point, right, is Haaland, are they all pushing? Yes, but it was that secondary push when he took it, and it's a full two-arm extension into the chest. Does this guy need to go flying that much? No, but the evidence is just too clear and too clean to show that that was a material change in a push before the ball's in the net that fits into this new protocol of checking, and that's why it was recommended down. So I do think this one's correct, but I do agree with you, Troy, that there has been a bit of change when it comes to the burden of where they're sending VAR down, where in the group stages that wasn't happening. And now it's getting a little bit tighter. And we're, I'm going to use Mbappe for an example, right? In the Mbappe game, the delay of 3.5 minutes of checking, I completed that in 35, 40 seconds with my video operator. And we don't know what they were looking at unless they were trying to say Mbappe was similar to Spence today, that he initiated the foul. But at that point, now that's looking for the needle in the haystack.
Christina, what about, I don't know if you remember the play that hits the crossbar from a set piece, and then Ajir, the big center back, is like right there. The ball's up in the air. He goes to get it, and then he gets like smashed from behind. That's a foul anywhere else in the field. Why is that?
We took a look at that.
Because the thing is, if you freeze frame that and put it at VAR, right, that's going to be a foul all day, because he just goes up, the defender goes up and just goes right through the back of Ajir. So that's enough contact, just like the Haaland play, just like any play we see anywhere in the field.
Yeah, so we took a look at that one as well, too, right? And primarily the best angle for that is the one that's showing them from a sideline view, and it's actually on a reverse camera angle. So what we would be looking at as to whether or not this is a clear and obvious error is when they're both jumping up. Are they both jumping up simultaneously, or is he jumping into him in that direction? And that's where anything that's basically hips and up are the hardest ones to recommend for a clear and obvious error, because there's always shoving and there's pushing. And I know which one you're talking about, Grella, because I went to take a look at it and say, is this the penalty in this situation, right? And you also have to have the understanding of, okay, did he have the attempt to play the ball, a challenge for it? And I was okay with that being a check complete. I did not want that as a recommendation down, right? If we're going to have a high bar and a high standard, I'm fine for that not being a foul in that situation. But that's the gray subjective area where I know if you put that down and that was recommended for VAR for a penalty kick, you're going to have more than half of the community, football community, not agree with that. And that's, to that point, why it's not a clear and obvious error to send that down from VAR.